Welcome to AT Insider. My name's Eleanor, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about taking the SAT as someone with a learning disability and as someone who uses accommodations and assistive technology. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So I took the December SAT, and let me tell you, it was a process that ultimately led to success, but a process nonetheless. And so I want to share with you the knowledge that I've gained through this experience, one that was not as smooth as I would have liked it to be. So I'm going to start with preparation. What should you do to prepare as someone with a learning disability? So I'll say the basic stuff, which is to study. Study for a long time. Don't cram, right? Study slowly. It's a marathon, not a race. That's the first piece of advice. The second piece of advice is to, just as you are studying, start working with College Board, with the College Board coordinator at your school, with the testing center if you're taking the test at a testing center, with the College Board, maybe directly. Start that process for as long as you're studying, right? I studied for maybe 8 or 9 months. I suggest that you start contacting, just like I did, the College Board 8 or 9 months in advance. And I know it seems like overkill, but trust me, it is not. And that's because it is a tedious and arduous process kind of working with the College Board, right? They will ask for documentation of your disability, right? That can be a 504, an IEP, or, just a diagnosis from a doctor. And you'll have to work with them to ensure that they'll allow you to use the proper accommodations and assistive technology. And sometimes that process involves you appealing their decision if they make the wrong one, right? And so that can take an extended period of time. So giving yourself the allowance to have, those debates is very important. It's also important that you're able to, contact and have a clear line of communication with your testing center or your school, because often they will make mistakes in the process because they haven't tested a child with a learning disability before. So again, giving everyone plenty of time so that all the mistakes can be ironed out, and on test day things can go smoothly. That's my second piece of advice, right? Start, teeing up your accommodations in advance. Third part is start using your accommodations in advance. Just as you are studying, right, for those 8 months, for as long as you have until your test, right, start using and practicing with your accommodations, right? So the Blue Book tests, on Blue Book, the practice SAT tests, I suggest that you treat those tests as you would test day. And I know it's difficult, especially if you have extended time like I do, right, because the tests become very long and it will take up your whole Saturday, but trust me, it's worth it. So I sat in this very seat for probably like 20 hours, just taking full practice tests. I used the keyboard shortcuts that I would during test day, for me, which is text-to-speech. I used my extended time. I did all the things I would be doing on actual test day, to acquaint myself with the technology I was going to be using, and also to acclimate myself to and kind of build the stamina that is required if you're going to be using extended time. So do whatever that means for you, right? For whatever accommodations you have, practice with them during the duration of your studying so that they kind of become second nature. What I also suggest you do in that time is that you also test the accommodations that you will be able to use, or assistive technology, whatever you want to call it, right? So for me, I was going to be using text-to-speech, and the College Board offers a variety of products that you are allowed to use on test day, right? Screen readers and text-to-speech. And so what I did, which is again miserable and takes far too much time, but it's kind of necessary to the process, is sit down for like 4 hours and just go through every single one of them. Test them on the math, test them on the English, see which one works best for me. The next thing is mentally what you do to prep yourself for taking the test. And this is often very challenging for people with accommodations because often people mess it up. And that happened with me. So I went in to take the SAT actually earlier than the 7th because I was going to be having extended time. And so it was just easier for them to administer earlier or whatever. Ended up that I just couldn't take the SAT that day. Long story, I'll skip it. And that was not good for me mentally, right? I had gone through all the steps that you will go through, right? Studying for 8 months, preparing for 8 months, putting things off for after the test, right? And you go, and then you can't take it. And so stuff like that happens all the time, right? Maybe your computer is not working. Maybe they won't allow you to have headphones, even though you're supposed to, right? All of those challenges can happen. Most likely a challenge or two will happen. How do you keep yourself in the right mindset? I mean, given that your test isn't canceled, but it's still going on, you just need to kind of adapt. So what I suggest for that, whether you are expecting a difficulty or not, is that you get into a test day routine. Now, what does that mean? Well, for me, it looks like having my favorite breakfast and playing my album of test day music. I know it's cringy, but trust me, it works. So I've done this for years, right? Every time I have a big test, I have my favorite breakfast in the morning. I use my favorite pen on the test, like taking the test, and I listen to my favorite music beforehand. And it's kind of like Pavlov, right? Ring the bell, the dog starts salivating. You listen to that song, and your brain goes, oh, I'm ready to take a test. And so you condition yourself to be prepared, to kind of get into that zen, calm, focused kind of like mode, right? And so if something does come up, what I do at least is I put in those headphones and I start listening to that song, right? So let the adults handle the situation, right? If you have a college board coordinator, if you have someone at your school that you work with closely that you like, make sure they're informed that you're going to be taking the test that day. And if they have any questions, just kind of, divert it onto the adults whose true responsibility it is to make sure the test day goes smoothly, right? If I've had this happen to me, so just a hypothetical, if your proctor says you can't use your own computer or you can't use those headphones, just say, hey, contact Miss Billy Bob, right? Contact Miss Billy Bob, she knows all about it. And put in that music and bring yourself back to that calm mode where you're ready to take the test. All right, that's my advice. Study for a very long time, communicate with College Board for a very long time, get ready for test day mentally, right? Get all your pencils sharp and all that stuff, and then also get mentally prepared just as you're going to be physically getting prepared. And I know you're going to do great, right? I ended up doing pretty well, and I'm very happy with that, and I think that is in large part because of these strategies that I employed. It is a very hard path to, do the right thing, which is to study for a very long time and communicate for a very long time, but trust me, it will pay off when you take the test once, when you do great once, and you never have to worry about the SAT ever again. All right, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you want more videos like this with candid conversations, you can check out my YouTube channel where I have videos like this, where I also have videos reviewing specific assistive technology products, text-to-speech, speech-to-text, audiobook platforms, all that kind of stuff. You can also go to my website, which will be linked in the description, the first link, and that will take you to my website where I've written reviews of all of the different content that I've posted on my YouTube channel. There's also content unique to both of those platforms, so I suggest you check out both. All right, good luck with the SAT. Start studying now. You got this. It's a marathon, not a race. Bye.